Let me start by saying good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for being here in these very challenging conditions. Philadelphia, I want you to know that as we gather here this morning, weather officials have told us that the snow began falling across the city at around 3 a.m. This morning. And how many inches? Do we know how many inches, Dom, about now?
We were 3.5 at the EOC at 9 a.m.
So 3.5 inches at 9 a.m. This morning. And after that ends, we're anticipating an additional sleet and or what we're referencing as freezing rain conditions, and that will stay with us for a few hours. This remains a significant winter storm, and there are rough travel conditions expected all day long. So please remain at home if you possibly can. Since 5 a.m. this morning, for about 6 hours now, we've had a combined force of about 1,000 of our city workers and contractors, and they are using nearly 600 pieces of equipment, battling continuously to keep our roads safe and clear. And when we say equipment, we talk about everything from those triaxle dump trucks to loaders, sanitation compactors with plows that are attached to them, pickup trucks, and this was a new one for me, Philadelphia. Even ATVs have been deployed to help keep our roads clear. And beyond that, I want you to know that there are hundreds of city employees working collaboratively across departments and agencies to keep our warming shelters open, to answer 311 calls and 911 calls, and to ensure that our utilities are ready. And of course, all of our essential city services are operational. So I want to thank all of our municipal workforce because their work and their service right now, today and in the coming days, is essential, and we want you to know that we appreciate you. Philadelphia, we also want you to know that the city remains under a snow emergency that began at 9 p.m. last night. As of this moment, there is no update on when we anticipate lifting those restrictions, as we still have more hours of precipitation to navigate and to clear. So I want to say thank you also to those citizens who have cooperated, and they've moved their vehicles. Many of them did that before last night at 9 p.m. when our snow emergency went into effect, and we want you to know we don't take that lightly. While our snow emergency has been in effect for just about 12 hours, I also want to acknowledge our teams that have been working in an enhanced emergency posture since last Tuesday under our enhanced Code Blue operations. Now, Philadelphia, you should know that the Code Blue addresses additional support and operations for vulnerable populations during bitterly cold temperatures that are expected to continue for much of the coming week, far beyond when today's precipitation will actually end. I do understand that we have provided at least 250 additional bed slots during this emergency, and you're going to hear more from our Deputy Managing Director, Crystal Yates-Gale, on those details shortly. But speaking of bitterly cold temperatures that will remain, they will continue to remain with us, I want to reaffirm several of the safety messages that we shared with you yesterday. First, please remain off the roads if you do not have to travel. This challenging forecast means that we must completely clear the roads of snow, listen, before applying salt, since it will not penetrate snow due to the frigid temperatures. The less cars on the road means more time for our crews to get that essential task completed. So please, let's give our workforce the cooperation that they need. Now, Director Williams and Commissioner Del Rossi, they've been keeping me updated on the hour about our plowing operations that will soon expand to lifting and melting operations so that we keep primary, secondary, and yes, Philadelphia, our small tertiary roads and streets clear. And they're going to tell you more about that, along with the equipment I just had the opportunity to see for the first time that I'm excited that we're employing here in our city. But I do want you to know, Philadelphia, that these operations require periodic road closures because of tight spaces and the volumes of snow. So staying out of their way now helps them to get the snow out of the way faster, and we thank you so very much for your patience. Last, the forecast transition from snow right now to ice and sleet later today has us all on heightened concern about slippery road conditions and an increased possibility of power outages. I want to say a special thank you to our utility companies, PECO and PGW, for staying on the ready and in constant communication with the Office of Emergency Services here, led by Dom, so thank you for that. Now is the time, Philadelphia, to go around your own home to ensure that you are prepared. And once you're secure, please do what you can to check on your neighbors to make sure they are ready as well, especially our seniors and those folk who are disabled. We want to make sure we're providing as much assistance as possible. So if you have a neighbor that you know needs help with shoveling or anything related to the storm, please help them. Not only is it the right thing to do, but it's what I mean when you hear me say One Philly. This is when we get a chance to show the best that we have to offer. If you see someone who is outside or who is disabled and they need help, I want you to remember that you can call this number, 215-232-1984. Again, that's 215-232-1984 if you see someone who is outside or disabled and they need help. And if you or someone you know needs immediate access to resources to get and stay warm, I want you to know that you can visit phila.gov/getwarm. That's phila.gov/GETWARM. Now, our aim is to convene the media again on Monday around this same time for another snowstorm update. So we want you to watch our communications on social media. And to Dom and Director Williams, Joe Grace, you all have been doing an amazing job with keeping our residents up to date. We want you to know that we will let you know via our normal channels, whether that's our public channels on cable or, again, on our website. So, Philly, let's stick together. Let's take care of our family and our neighbors. Let's follow the guidelines we're providing for you. And I want you to know that we will get through this storm together. And I now want to turn things over to our Director Williams to share more about our snow operations.
Thank you, Mayor. As always, we want to start off by thanking you for your leadership through these very challenging times in reference to this event led by and at the effects of Winter Storm Fern. I want to give you an update on our operations, where we are today and how far we have to go. Needless to say, I have to say this, we have a long way to go. This storm just started early this morning as forecasted by many of the meteorologists around the city of Philadelphia and around the region. They anticipated that it would start off slow and pick up very rapidly. We're right now in the heart of the accumulation that is expected to hit our region. So it started at about 3 a.m., picked up around 7 a.m. So far you heard Our Office of Emergency Management Director, Don Morales, said 3 inches are on the ground now. We expect another 4 to 7 inches to hit the ground in the next couple of hours, and so we have to continuously fight this storm throughout the entire day. So what have we done? First of all, we've brought in over 500 pieces of equipment that are constantly plowing the streets. They've been plowing since 5 a.m. in the morning. It may not look like roads have been plowed, but that shows you the amount of accumulation and how fast it's coming down. But it's important that we stay ahead of this storm. We cannot allow snow accumulation to get to a point where it's unplowable. And so they have to continuously work throughout the day, throughout the area. I want to reinforce what our mayor said. Please stay off the roadways. It's important because you slow our operation down, and it's a risk not only to our workers, but it's a risk to yourselves. So allow us to do our jobs and clear those streets. We will continue this operation until we see that transition, and we are watching it very closely because that is a big concern for us, that wintry, icy mix. The concern is that once that wintry, icy mix hits, things will start to freeze over, and it will make it that much difficult to plow roadways. So what are we doing at noon today? We're bringing in a lifting operation. We'll also start not only a lifting, but a plow and salt operation. Right now, we're just trying to push as much snow off the roadways so we can clear paths. But once that wintry mix kicks in, we don't want it to freeze. We have to put more salt down. That's why we're here at the Salt Dome, to show you that it is important that we manage our salt reserves efficiently. And speaking of salt, I have to say this as well. This is an important message. We've received comments and notes that the city is giving away free salt. That is not the case. We need our salt for our roadways and events because we cannot afford to give it away and be in a situation where we have icy conditions all over the city of Philadelphia. To find out the facts, contact our official social media networks at www.phila.gov. Please don't look at erroneous Facebook posts and think that is the law. We must make sure that we be diligent and be smart about the work that we're doing here in the city of Philadelphia, because this is a matter of life and death in some cases if we don't get this right. As I stated earlier, we wanted to be in advance of this storm, and that's why we're fighting it continuously. We know that in certain parts of the city, the accumulation will get to a point where we now have to lift it out of the neighborhoods and then take it to designated locations and use different strategies. So I want to thank the Philadelphia School District, PIDC, PGW, Department of Public Property, and so many others, PGW. They've provided locations for us to do that lifting operation. In addition, as the mayor stated earlier, and as you saw right outside this building, we've invested in a piece of equipment that's going to help us expedite the removal process. We will have a snow melter that delivers 135 tons an hour melting snow throughout the city of Philadelphia, servicing North Philadelphia, South Philadelphia, and Center City, where those streets are extremely tight, and we're going to make use of that equipment throughout the week as it goes on. That equipment will continue to run this evening. We will be giving a live demonstration at a press avail, and we will be notifying you what that location is at a later date. I just want to also remind people about some of the rules. First of all, we talked about don't drive if you don't have to. If you do have to drive, follow the speed limits. As I was coming in today, Mayor, unfortunately I saw a car who thought they could navigate these streets, and they spent out and hit a median, and they caused traffic jams. I hope that citizen is okay, but ultimately it just shows you how dangerous these roads is to drive. I was surprised to see that much traffic out, and I want to reiterate the importance of staying off the roadways. Secondly, Commissioner Bethel is going to talk about the snow route emergency and why that's important. I also want to talk about making sure you park legally in neighborhoods. We can't get our equipment in if you're parked illegally on corners. We must stress that. We got to get to those small streets. We have what they call pippins and skid steers. That's the smallest piece of equipment that will help us move this snow fast. it would help us if you cooperate and not have your cars parked at those locations. So I want to reiterate that. We will be working with our partners at the Parking Authority to tow vehicles out of that area. We will let you know how to get your vehicle back, but in the meantime, we have to move those vehicles out of that location. Once we clear those streets, we'll continuously work throughout the day and throughout the evening salting those areas. The next thing I want to be able to tell you is that when this snow concludes, please remember to shovel your sidewalk at a 36-inch path. I said it the other day. I'm still from the old school. I shovel by hand, but some people got snow blowers. Do not blow snow into the street. It creates snowpacks, and with these temperatures, it's going to freeze immediately. What that does is for equipment that you see around here, it slows the operation down. We have to expedite getting ahead of as much snow off this street as possible before these temperatures plummet and it begins to freeze. So those are the things and the tips that I want to remind people of. Regarding other services, trash collection is suspended on Monday. We will notify you if it resumes, but right now we are a day behind on trash collection, and depending how far we get this evening and tomorrow, we will let you know if trash and recycling collection resumes. There will be no twice-a-week trash collection this week in those areas that receive it. It has been suspended. I just want to end by saying this. We exercise patience. I need our residents to exercise patience because this is a long, drawn-out storm. We cannot have residents flood 311 calls because we won't be able to get to them right away. We are going to continuously service our routes, and we will take your complaint, but we won't be servicing it until after the event closes. You can still use the 311 app and take a picture of locations so we have that information and we can give it to our crews now so that they can service it on the existing routes. But please be patient when you're making these calls and so that we can service the areas accordingly. That is all, and I would like to introduce Don Morales, who is the Director of our Office of Emergency Management, who will give you an update on OEM operations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Williams. Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. The city's Emergency Operations Center moved to a full activation at 11 p.m. last night with two dozen agencies seated together in person to implement the citywide snow emergency plan and respond to the conditions on the ground. I want to thank the numerous emergency management liaisons, and partners who are sharing information and problem solving around the clock and will continue to do so as we are in the response phase of this storm and eventually transition to recovery. As you've heard, overnight snow began falling in the 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock hour, and that snow quickly began sticking, and the pace is only increasing. 3.5 inches at the EOC just after 9 a.m. At 7 a.m., we were only at 1.5 inches. We picked up 2 inches in 2 hours. Right now, until this early afternoon, you will see our heaviest snowfall rates. Philly, stay home if you can. If you must travel, you can check PA 511 for PennDOT's conditions, although I saw the same spinouts coming up 95, and I got to shout out, our PennDOT partners are out there. They are in the Emergency Operations Center with us. They're doing their plow trains up and down 95, but still, whether you have four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, the conditions are not favorable to be on the road right now. As you heard this afternoon, the precipitation is anticipated to change to sleet and freezing rain. When that happens, even front steps and sidewalks that had been shoveled earlier in the day and cleared out could have a very thin layer of invisible ice. That first step could lead to a very easy fall. Please be careful this afternoon and into tomorrow. Now, you may remember on Friday, we deputized Philadelphia emergency response neighbors to connect to information, to check on one another, and to report emergencies. I am very pleased to report that more than 3,200 Philadelphians became ready by signing up for alerts, texting the word READY-PHILA to 888-777. Again, they text the word READYPHILA to 888-777. And there is still time for you to step up and connect to information. If the conditions change, if services change, and we expect they will, as we continue to respond and then recover to this storm, that will be the official way that we communicate. When the snow emergency is lifted, that, the city's blog on phila.gov, and the city's website will continue to be the way that we communicate that official information. Lastly, while I hope and I know that many of us are already at home and being comfortable, I want you to remain weather aware after the wintry mix stops. This storm is not just about the snowfall and the wintry mix. It is about the extreme cold that brought us up to this point and the extreme cold that continues right now, at least until the end of this week and potentially further. As we know, this extreme cold can stress much of our infrastructure. So if you are home today, please find 20 minutes to visit www.phila.gov/ready. And I want you to check out tips for 3 scenarios. What do you do if a tree limb falls? Plenty of information online. Call 911 if it is in a power line or blocking a road. If it's not and it's more routine, call 311. 311 is open right now and taking those calls. Scenario number 2, what to do if you have a water emergency or you see a water emergency in the street. Today, you can make sure that you keep your water at home well stocked. Fill a pitcher, fill the ice cube tray. Make sure that you have your emergency reserve. We recommend enough water, a gallon per person per day. But do what you can with what you have. And if you see a water emergency, the water department's line, 215-685-6300, is answering emergency calls and dispatching emergency crews. We've already responded and resolved to 1 water main issue today and 1 downed tree limb today. So please keep making those reports. And the third scenario, what to do if the power goes out. Right now, keep your devices charged. And if you have to find an alternate way to keep warm, make sure you are doing so safely by using generators outdoors and not in enclosed spaces, and keeping supplemental heating sources away from flammable items. And I think our fire commissioner will have a little bit more to say about that. And lastly, you can report power emergencies by calling PECO at 1-800-841-4141. Philly, we have a few more days ahead of us. And as those days change and evolve, we will keep you updated, even after the snow. So please, let's keep ready and let's continue to take care of one another. Thank you. Commissioner Bell.
So good morning, everyone. First, again, I want to thank the mayor for her leadership, but I also want to echo the words she said about our municipal workers, how much we appreciate all the work that you are doing. I specifically want to talk to the men and women of the Philadelphia Police Department. You know, it's an honor to lead this organization, and I'm also honored to see the men and women come in this morning, ready to be on station, ready to do the work. I specifically want to thank the radio dispatchers. Oftentimes they get ignored. But these men and women arrived to work today, and I'm just so grateful for them being here and being able to service. I listened to the radio this morning coming in, and I can hear the men and women doing exactly what they are charged to do. And so, again, you know, I appreciate them and appreciate the work they're doing. You heard a lot of comments about the emergency routes. We have consistently asked individuals to stay off and remove their cars from these emergency routes which are posted. It is important. We have ticketed over 100, towed over 100 cars. I believe my colleagues at the Park Authority over 150 cars, requiring us to do a lot of towing and a lot of ticketing. That is not our goal when we announced early in the process that we asked you to get off of those routes. It does not help us. It does not help us, you know, to do the work that Carlton indicated if you continue to park on those routes. So we encourage those individuals who are listening to our ears today to move your cars off of those routes. It's important for us to go. We are fully operational. Our 911 center is up, and we're seeing a lower volume of calls both overnight and this morning. Again, I want to thank the public. I asked you to not call 911 unless it was an emergency. When we see those calls come down, that means you're listening, and I want to extend my appreciation for you to answering that call, because as is indicated here, it's a team effort, and when you do that, that is important. I'll end with, as the mayor talked about coming in, people are already saving spots. We again encourage you not to do that. We have, as you know, have occurrences where we've had some significant incidents as a result of that. If anyone has a conflict or see a conflict, we ask you to call 911. We'll come out and reserve that. But that is an ordinance. It is a ticket for you to be saving a space. And so we actually encourage you not to do that. We encourage you As we've indicated from the beginning, it's a team effort. Everybody work together, clear out the spots together, so it makes that unnecessary. But again, we're going to continue to answer the call, continue to support our colleagues in the fire department. And so I'll now transition over to Commissioner Jeffrey Thompson for his remarks.
Thank you, Commissioner Bethel. Good morning. Let me start by saying I want to say thank you to Mayor Parker for her unwavering support for public safety. And I also want to thank the entire team that stands behind me to ensure that we get through this thing together. First thing I want to say is that although the fire department remains busy, we are continuing to respond to every single 911 call there is. We have increased our staffing to ensure that we are operationally effective. We've also increased the number of medic units that we have on the street to ensure that we can meet the demand. I want to talk a little bit about fire safety, as most of us are staying home. We'll be indoors a lot. First thing, I always talk about smoke alarms. They do work. So if you have not done so as of yet, please check your smoke alarm to ensure that it works. And share this message with your family and your friends. Smoke alarms absolutely work, and they do save lives. The next thing I want to talk about, space heaters. If you are using a space heater, remember, space heaters require space. Make sure there are no combustibles close by. Make sure they are plugged directly into outlets, because if they draw a lot of current, if they're plugged into extension cords, that can be an issue. The next thing I want to talk about is, it was mentioned earlier, generators. In the event of power outage, make sure if you're using a generator, you use it outside, because gas generators can produce carbon monoxide that can make you ill and worse. And also, make sure you're not grilling inside, because that also produces carbon monoxide. If we are forced to go through a power outage and you need light, make sure you use flashlights and not candles. Candles can most certainly be a danger. Okay, so I want you, as we all go through this together, to remember to think about fire safety, and we can all be safe together. Next up, I want to bring up Deputy Managing Director Crystal Yates-Gale.
Good morning, everybody. I want to give an update about what we're doing for our vulnerable population, particularly our unhoused neighbors. We have opened what we are calling warming centers during our Enhanced Code Blue, and we will be in the Enhanced Code Blue posture throughout this week. What that means is the temperatures have reached 32 degrees or lower, the wind chill is 20 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, we will be there the entire week. We have opened 24-hour warming centers, meaning we're asking people to stay off the roads for safety. We have to do the same. So instead of our normal operation, where we use libraries during the day for our warming centers and rec centers during the night for our warming centers, we have added capacity by adding 24-hour warming centers where people will be able to stay from 9 p.m. last night through 9 a.m. on Tuesday. At those warming centers, we provide water, snacks, blankets, warming kits, and a cot. We staff those centers with healthcare professionals, behavioral healthcare professionals, and housing case managers in case somebody wants a shelter. If you need help or observe someone in this extreme weather, please call our outreach number. I'm going to repeat it, 215-232-1984. We have capacity in our shelter system. We have capacity in our treatment system. We have capacity in our warming centers. The mayor said 250 slots. Ma'am, we have 285 slots as of this morning. We will increase as the demand increases. You can access the warming center by calling the hotline or visiting www.phila.gov/getwarm. Again, we encourage people to accept a shelter bed. We have capacity. If you are struggling with substance use disorder, we have staff at all of our warming centers to help to connect you to treatment. There's a link on the warming sites that includes all locations and hours of operations. Those maps are updated daily. They are updated when we add capacity. They are updated when we change hours. Please remember to reach out. Check on your neighbors who are vulnerable, especially seniors and people with disabilities. Stay in unless absolutely necessary, and stay safe. Thank you. I'm going to call up Scott Sauer from SEPTA.
Thank you. With conditions, with conditions across the system worsening, SEPTA will have proactive suspensions of service this afternoon to ensure safety of our customers and employees. So at 2:00 p.m. this afternoon, all regional rail, bus, and access paratransit and shared ride services will be suspended for the remainder of the day. This means that if you are taking a bus or regional rail train, you will need to be on a vehicle that reaches your final destination no later than 2 p.m. We urge you to get ahead of that if at all possible. We are closely monitoring conditions on our trolley network as well as our suburban rail services. Service will continue to operate on the Market Frankford and the Broad Street lines, as those are your best bets to continue traveling through the city for the remainder of the day. This service suspension will remain in effect through the day Sunday and overnight. We will not resume service until it is safe to do so. Please get the latest updates on our website at septa.org, on our SEPTA app, or our social media channels. Our customer service number, 215-580-7800, is available until 6 p.m. By taking this proactive approach and suspending services before conditions become unsafe, we'll greatly reduce the chances that our buses and trains become stranded or disabled, and this also keeps the customers from being delayed further. We'll also be able to keep the roadways clear for the city's plows and for emergency services. With our vehicles back at our shops and yards and out of harm's way, our maintenance crews will be able to get them ready for service when that service resumes. While these efforts put us in the best position possible, I want to stress that we're going to need time. Just like the city, we will promise to get to every station, get to every parking lot, get to every stairwell that we can, but it will take us time to do so. Dozens of SEPTA crews and third-party contractors have been deployed to these locations and will continue to do so as conditions permit. We have 6,000 tons of salt on hand to spread, a full complement of our own equipment, our largest blowers and snow throwers and plows that we'll use to clear surfaces and tracks to get it ready for when service can resume. We're committed to clearing all of these areas and restoring all services. But again, I want to stress, this will take time. We will not bring back service until it is safe to do so. And I expect that we will have significant challenges through the week with the dipping temperatures that will keep this snow and ice around for a while. So if you do have to travel tomorrow, please expect that at a minimum, there are going to be significant delays and trip cancellations. But we will make decisions throughout the day today on what service will look like tomorrow. So please stay tuned to our app and social channels to get that up-to-date information. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Scott. Let me just say in closing to my team, we are ready, and we are ready because you, the managers and leaders here in the city of Philadelphia, are ready, along with the amazing workforce who they're out there on the ready and on the street doing the work right now, and we want you to know that we are grateful. We are here, Philadelphia, at the 6th Highway Yard and Training Facility. The district, I'm going to ask him to just step over here. Councilmember Driscoll, I want to say a special thank you to you for being supportive of all of the activity. I mean, the equipment coming in and out and trying to make sure that our workforce here has everything that we need. One, the intergovernmental cooperation that is required to ensure that we are successful. It is, in effect. I just finished communicating with our governor, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, and just affirming that, listen, PennDOT and our Office of Emergency Management, the police department, the Pennsylvania State Police, it's our standard operational procedure to ensure that we are working together. And Councilmember Driscoll, I'm proud to be able to report that our intergov collaboration is working. We'll now take any questions that you may have. Yes, sir.
Yeah, great question. So I want to clarify our operation and what we're doing right now. It's a plow-only operation because we don't want to put salt down, plow it to the side, and it doesn't take effect. We need to keep trying to control the accumulation amounts, and that's why our teams are out there constantly. We have extra resources and higher elevations in areas that are around the city to try to keep pushing it down. So while you may not see clear roadways right now because of the accumulations, it's still beneficial for us to run plows because when we're ready to now lay salt, we will be near bare surface. That's when it's going to take effect. Now, the temperatures, according to our latest forecast, and Dom can affirm it as well, will sneak up to around 20s and 30s, some part this afternoon and some part tomorrow. That's when salt takes effect. But when it freezes, and if we allow it to freeze on top of the existing snow, then it's not effective at all. So we have to be very strategic in making sure when we lay salt that it hits the bare minimum of the locations and it takes effect when we do get those warmer temperatures. That is critical. That's why we threw everything that we possibly could at this storm. I want to thank Fleet Management. I see them over there as well for having those vehicles ready. John DeLeo and Joe Rosati, thank you. Wanted to make sure that we get that information out there because that's what you're seeing right now. You're seeing nothing but a plowing operation. There is a fine line when it starts to transition over into a sleet ice. That's when we're going to hit it hard with salt because we don't want that to bond to the surface. Our hard-working men and women in the streets department was out all week long brining. That little milky substance that you see on the roadways that was white, that is actually a salt solution that will try to break the adherence of ice to our surface roadway. So we're pushing that all out and we're letting the brining take effect. But in the end, we have to make good use of our salt and not let it get pushed to the side and let it do what it's supposed to do. Well, we're going to strategically move that around the city as well as needed. So we're starting in North Philadelphia. We're looking at other locations that we can take it on. And again, it's how we progress throughout the week. So we constantly evaluate, where we are. Do we need it? Are we using the locations? The PIDC gave us the airstrip at the Naval Yard. I mean, we're using and the mayor says this every tool in the toolbox to fight this storm. So locations, snow melters, and certainly, the hard men and women that's out there working in both sanitation and streets, highways. That's what we're using to fight this storm.
Listen, to use caution and follow the instructions from the subject matter experts who were here on today. Scott, I want to thank you and SEPTA for affirming that our Broad Street line and the L, it is, the preferred travel source now here in our city. SEPTA will continue to keep us up to date. Essential workers, we know some people have to get to work. So we, want to use caution here and do it to the best of your ability. To members of the business community, I want you to know that's why it's extremely important for us to have an efficient process in plowing and in the removal because we want our business owners to be back at work. So we're doing the best we can. In Philadelphia, I know we're going to get a lot of calls and a lot of comments about what time and how long as it relates to plowing. And we need to give our municipal workforce some grace. So if someone asks you how long will it take, you tell them it will take as long as it takes. But our municipal workforce, they're on the ground and they're giving us the best that they've got right now, and they're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. We're going to come back and update you on tomorrow, but I want you to take advantage of what our Office of Emergency Management Leader, Dominic, said to you here on today. Sign up for our text messages so that you can get this information directly from the city about this storm. Go visit our formal and official social media pages that you heard Director Williams reference, because we want to make sure that you're getting the best and most accurate information available. Council President Kenyatta Johnson and I were talking about that earlier this week, that it's essential that we drive Philadelphians to our official information sites on social media so that you're getting the facts. Thank you so much, and we're continuing to work. We'll show them One Philly in action. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor. There was one final announcement that I omitted. I'm sorry, Mayor.
Sure.
Trash and recycling collection, because of the accumulation amounts and we don't plow driveways, collections are suspended. We will let you know when it will resume, and please, as the mayor said, check our official web pages and social media pages for more accurate, up-to-date information. Thank you all. Thank you, Mayor.